السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته طلابنا. بعد أن أنهينا الفصل الثامن and chapter 9, today we will continue with chapter 10, which is stress in simple words. First of all, let us talk about what is stress. What is the nature of stress? We have mentioned this, let us say, term several times without explanation to it, as we have discussed chapter, for example, 8, 9, and today 10. We know that when I, for example, pronounce the word father, I stress the first, let us say, the beginning of the word, okay, the first syllable. But when I, for example, say apartment, I stress the second syllable or the second part of the word. Whereas when I say, for example, the word receive, I stress the last part or the last syllable of this word. Okay? So the stressed syllables and the unstressed syllables, let us say, are explained or are clear from our pronunciation. So the important question here is, what are the characteristics of stressed syllables that enable us to identify them? ما هي مميزات السيلابلز المشددة اللي تمكننا من تفريقهم أو معرفتهم؟ There are two different ways to approach or of approaching this question. To answer this question, there are two ways. Number one, I consider what the speaker does in producing stressed syllables. ماذا يفعل المتكلم عندما he produces stressed syllables. The second way is what characteristics of sound make a syllable seem to the listener to be stressed. I mean from a perceptual, let us say, point of view. من ناحية المتلقي المستمع شنو اللي يحصل له؟ فإذا I can answer it from the speaker point of view, the production, and the perceptual, I mean the hearer or the listener. So the first point or the first way, for example, the production of the stress is generally believed to depend on the speaker using more muscular energy than is used for the unstressed syllables. السبيكر يبذل خلينا نقول جهد عضلي أقوى أو أكبر من بس طبعا بالstressed syllables than the unstressed syllables. Okay? The muscles that we use to expel the air from the lungs are often more active, producing higher subglottal pressure and producing these stressed syllables. The other way, or on the perception, let us say, of the stress, لما أتلقى أنا كيف أسمعها أنا المستمع, okay, أو let us say from the perceptual point of view, all the stressed syllables have one characteristic in common. كلها عندها ميزة واحدة وهي السائدة, which is prominence. Prominence means العلو في أو التجديد. لما يكون مقطع مشدد, there is a prominence. Okay? So stressed syllables are recognized as stressed because they موجودة عندكم on page 74. They شنو? They are more prominent than the unstressed syllables. فإذا الstressed syllables تكون are more prominent than the unstressed syllable. تكون أقوى وأكثر علو وأشد من unstressed syllables. What makes a syllable prominent? This is also an important question. What are the factors? Okay, what are the factors that make the syllable prominent. شنو اللي يخلي هذا الsyllable more prominent than the other؟ أكثر علو أو مشدد أو أقوى من البقية. There are 4 different factors. عندي 4 عوامل. Okay. Number 1, the stressed syllables are louder than the unstressed syllables. أول شيء إنه الstressed syllables يكونون louder than the other. Okay. So إذن عندي loudness. Number 2, the length of the syllables has an important part to play in prominence. The long syllable is what? Is the prominent syllable. كل ما يكون المقطع long كل ما يكون more prominent. إذن the length. Number 3, every voiced syllable is said to be or on some pitch. Okay, pitch in speech is closely related to the frequency, تردد الصوت أو vibration of the vocal folds. Okay, so the more or the high, let us say, pitch notes is the high prominent ones. كل ما كان البيتش عالي لفريكونسي التردد للvibration of the vocal cords كل ما كان الsyllable شبيه stressed and more prominent. إذا number 3 we have what? We have the pitch. And then we have number 4, الفاكتور الرابع اللي يأثر لي أو يبين لي يميز لي بأنه هذا stressed syllable وهذا unstressed syllable is what? A syllable will tend to be a prominent if it contains a vowel that is different in quality from the neighboring vowels. إذا مقطع syllable بصوت علة مختلف بالنوعية بالquality from other vowels, so it will be what? More prominent. More prominent. بالكتاب عندنا we have this example. We have ba, 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 ba. If I put, for example, in, طبعا it is a nonsense word, ما لها معنى, but if I put in between these, let us say, regular vowels, I put, for example, the vowel E, sorry, not A, it will be more prominent, distinguished one, مميز. For example, when I say ba, 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 or when I say ba, bi, ba, ba, then the B is what? Will be different, so will be what? More prominent. So prominence, أكو عندي مقطع بالأخير paragraph قبل 10.2 very important إنه prominence is produced by 4 main factors تحدد ب4 عوامل. Number 1 loudness, number 2 length, number 3 pitch, and we have what? Quality. Okay? Yes. Of course, these 4 factors work together in combination. Okay? يعني وحدة تعتمد على كلها مشتركة تشتغل لي حتى تبين إنه الsyllable made يعني prominent by means of these 4 factors. The combination of these 4 factors. الموضوع الثاني in this chapter is in 10.2 on page 74. We have levels of stress. Levels of stress. إذا تجديد الستريس موجودة عندي وإلها levels. What are these levels? Of course, we will begin with the words, the simple words, the words in isolation, not in a sentence, not in a connected speech. راح نتكلم عن الكلمات مفردة فحتى يكون علينا أسهل في معرفة levels of stress. This means that we are looking at words as they are said in isolation, which is a rather artificial situation, of course. يعني ما أقدر أتكلم word by word. For example, if I say I will travel to Baghdad, I will not say I will travel to. So this is an artificial situation, right? مصطنع. Although we have some words, we can say words in isolation. For example, when I say yes, no, please, for example, in the interrogative words, for example, I go like what, how, who, etc. So these are the, let us say, the correct way of saying these words. So let us now concentrate or focus on these words in isolation, and it is what it is, a rather artificial situation. Okay. You have a diagram on page 75. Okay, we have two levels here, two layers, two lines. Okay, two lines. You have here two lines, and in between we have a curve. صحيح هذا المنحني. These two lines, okay, these two lines, parallel, let us say, lines اللي هم المتوازيين, represent the speaker's highest and the lowest pitch level. Here we have what? The highest and the lowest pitch level. The prominence that results from this pitch movement or the tone gives the strongest type of stress, and it is called the primary stress. أعلى قمة من هذا الانحناء اللي هي البيتش of my tone, العلو في ارتفاع صوتي أو النغمة مالتي, is called what? It is here the highest one is called what? The strongest, type of stress is called the primary stress. فأعلى شيء أوصل له أسميها شنو؟ The primary stress. And somewhere we can observe a type of stress that is weaker than the primary stress. في بعض المقاطع عندي يمكن أن أوصل إلى يعني stress ولكنها تكون أضعف than the primary stress. Okay? For example, when I say around is different from, for example, when I say pay is the strongest one. It is the primary one. But when I say around, here we have the weaker one, which is secondary. For example, when I say photographic, the stress in these words is called secondary stress. Okay, of course the stress is the simple for this الرمز إلها vertical, يعني شايفين أنتم الإشارة كأنها خط صغير. The secondary stress لها transcription لما أكتب مثلا I transcribe some words with secondary stress, I put a low mark لي جوا. Okay, low mark. Okay. So till now we have what? We have identified two levels of stress. Then كم levels عندي من stress? عندي the highest one اللي هي highest, let us say, pitch level, which is what? The primary stress. And the second one اللي هي weaker than the other,